Have you ever felt like you're working harder than ever, yet your finances remain stuck in the same frustrating cycle? Like there's an invisible barrier between you and the abundance you know should be flowing into your life? What if I told you that right now, in this very moment, something is about to shift in your financial reality that you've been waiting years to experience? You didn't arrive at this video by chance. There are no coincidences in the divine orchestration of your life. The fact that you're here, reading these words, watching this screen, means that heaven has taken notice of your name. Joseph Murphy understood something profound about the spiritual laws governing prosperity, that before breakthrough manifests in the physical realm, it must first be activated in the spiritual dimension. And today, that activation is happening for you. Let me share something that might sound extraordinary, but I need you to stay with me until the end, because what you're about to discover will change how you see your financial future forever. Before December 16th, and I want you to mark this date in your mind, 4 specific financial doors are assigned to open in your life. Not one door, not 2, but 4 distinct pathways to financial breakthrough that have been prepared with your name written on them. But before we dive deeper into what these 4 doors are and how they will manifest in your life, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You've heard promises before. You've tried different approaches. You've worked hard, prayed earnestly, and yet those financial breakthroughs seem to slip through your fingers at the last moment. Has this ever happened to you? You get close to a breakthrough, you can almost touch it, and then something inexplicable happens. An unexpected expense, a delayed payment, an opportunity that falls through. It's as if there's a pattern of delay that keeps repeating itself. Here's what Joseph Murphy discovered through years of studying the intersection of faith, consciousness, and material prosperity. There are spiritual doors that govern the flow of abundance in your life. These aren't metaphorical doors. They are actual spiritual gateways through which divine provision, opportunities, restoration, and wealth transfer must pass to reach you. And when these doors have been locked, delayed, or blocked by circumstances beyond your understanding, your finances remain stagnant no matter how hard you work in the natural realm. But something powerful is happening right now. The atmosphere around your life is shifting. The spiritual climate is changing. Those locked doors are beginning to respond to a divine command that supersedes every delay, every obstacle, every pattern of lack that has followed you. And what you're about to learn about these 4 specific doors will give you the understanding and the authority to understand what's truly happening behind the scenes of your financial struggles and triumphs. You see, there's a hidden truth that most people never grasp about money and prosperity. It's not just about working harder or being smarter with your resources. There's an invisible timeline, a divine schedule that governs when certain doors open and when specific blessings are released into your life. Your waiting season, and I know how exhausting it's been, is not punishment. It's been preparation. Every moment of delay, every period of frustration, every time you wondered if your breakthrough would ever come, something was being arranged in the spiritual realm that your natural eyes couldn't see. But here's the revelation that changes everything. That season is now. Transitioning. The ancient scripture in Isaiah 62 verse 8 contains a promise that's about to become a living reality in your hands. It declares that God Himself will place something in your possession that no enemy, no circumstance, no economic downturn, no pattern of lack can ever steal from you. Think about what that means. Not something that can be lost, not something temporary, but a permanent shift in your financial reality. This is the kind of transformation that impacts not just your bank account, but your entire mindset about what's possible for you. It alters the trajectory of your decisions, rewrites the story you've been telling yourself about limitation, and breaks the cycle that may have followed your family line for generations. Now, I want to go even deeper into this understanding of divine timing and spiritual authority. With the same power that spoke the universe into existence, every financial door assigned to open in your life before December 16th is being commanded to open right now. Not next month, not when circumstances look better, not when you feel more worthy. Now. This includes divine access to opportunities you didn't even know existed. Supernatural release of resources that have been held up in the invisible realm, and accelerated favor that causes people and situations to align in your direction without you forcing or manipulating anything. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. This channel delivers the spiritual principles that unlock real financial breakthrough. Hit that subscribe button and stay connected. What has been delayed in your life is losing its power to delay you any further. What has been stuck, whether it's a promotion, a business deal, a financial settlement, an idea that should have taken off, is becoming unstuck. The mechanisms that control the flow of prosperity into your life are shifting position. Can you feel it? That subtle sense that something different is happening, that the atmosphere around your circumstances is changing. That's not your imagination. That's the evidence of doors beginning to move. If this resonates with what you've been experiencing, write in the comments, "My season is shifting." These 4 doors that are aligning with your name aren't random. They're not one-size-fits-all blessings handed out generically to anyone who happens to be watching. Each door has been specifically designed for your unique financial destiny, calibrated to your current needs, and timed for this exact moment in your journey. The first door is provision, the supernatural supply of exactly what you need when you need it, from sources you haven't even considered. The second is opportunity, divine appointments, strategic connections, and moments that shift your entire trajectory with a single conversation. The third door is restoration, the return of everything that was taken from you, every loss reversed, every setback rewritten. And the fourth is abundance. Not just enough to get by, but overflow that spills into every area of your life. Understanding this framework changes everything about how you approach the next few weeks. It shifts your mindset from survival mode to expectation mode. It transforms your decisions from reactive to strategic, because when you know that heaven has already marked these doors with your name, you stop begging for what's already been assigned to you. You stop doubting whether you deserve it. You start moving with the confidence of someone who knows that their breakthrough isn't dependent on circumstances aligning perfectly, but on divine timing, releasing what's been prepared behind the scenes. But here's where the journey gets intensely practical and personal. For these doors to fully open, there are barriers that must collapse right now. I'm talking about invisible resistance that you felt but couldn't name. Those moments when everything seems to be moving forward, then inexplicably stalls. Those patterns where money comes in but immediately flows out to unexpected expenses. Those cycles where opportunities appear close, then dissolve at the last second. These aren't coincidences. They're evidence of spiritual chains wrapped around your finances, subtle thieves operating in the unseen realm, stealing your momentum before it can build into real transformation. The revelation Joseph Murphy emphasized throughout his work was this: the visible world is governed by the invisible. What happens in your bank account is the effect, not the cause. The cause lies in the spiritual atmosphere, in the patterns you can't see but can definitely feel. And right now, those chains are breaking. Not gradually, not over time, but immediately. The barriers that have been resisting your breakthrough are collapsing under divine authority. The confusion that's clouded your financial decisions is being replaced with clarity, sudden insights about what steps to take next. The weakness that's made you hesitate is being replaced with strength, a boldness to act on what you're being shown, and most importantly, you're receiving divine strategy, the behind-the-scenes wisdom that shows you exactly how to position yourself for what's coming. If you're sensing this shift in your spirit, type in the comments, "The barriers are breaking." This revelation brings us to a profound truth that will completely reframe how you see the remainder of this year. Your finances will not end December in the same state they began January. That's not motivational speak or wishful thinking. It's a declaration based on spiritual law. You are being ushered into a completely new dimension of financial reality. Not just a slight improvement where things get marginally better, not temporary relief that feels good for a moment but doesn't last. This is about total transformation that restructures your relationship with money, prosperity, and provision at the deepest level. Think about the impact of what that truly means. A new dimension isn't just more of what you already have. It's access to resources, opportunities, and favor that didn't exist in your previous reality. It's like moving from two-dimensional thinking into three-dimensional living. Suddenly, you can see angles and possibilities that were always there, but completely invisible to you before. Your decisions start coming from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Your mindset shifts from "how do I survive this" to "how do I steward what's coming?" The entire trajectory of your financial journey changes direction. But to walk through this doorway into transformation, we need to expose something that's been operating in the shadows of your financial life for far too long. There's been a battle raging against your prosperity that most people never identify because it doesn't fight fair and it doesn't fight in the open. This is the hidden truth behind why so many hard-working, faithful, talented people struggle financially. Despite doing everything right in the natural realm, they earn money but can never seem to keep it. They work relentlessly, but watch their resources mysteriously disappear into unexpected expenses, emergency repairs, or situations that shouldn't have happened. They see golden opportunities come tantalizingly close, almost within reach, then slip away at the final moment for reasons that make no logical sense. Does this pattern sound familiar in your own experience? That frustrating cycle where you take 2 steps forward only to get pushed 3 steps back, where breakthrough seems imminent and then evaporates. This isn't bad luck. This isn't just life being difficult. This is evidence of a spiritual battle that's been sabotaging your financial progress behind the scenes, operating in the realm you can't see with physical eyes, but can absolutely feel in your daily reality. The enemy of your prosperity knows that if you ever break through to the dimension God has prepared for you, you'll become unstoppable. So the strategy has been to keep you stuck in cycles of almost, nearly, and not quite. If you recognize this battle in your own life, write in the comments, "I see the pattern now." The revelation we need to grasp here goes deeper than most financial teaching ever addresses. Money doesn't just move physically from one account to another, from one hand to another. It moves spiritually first. There are currents in the unseen realm that either accelerate or restrict the flow of prosperity into your life. This is why 2 people can work the same job, put in the same hours, have the same skills, yet one thrives while the other barely survives. The difference isn't always visible in their work ethic or decisions. The difference is in the spiritual atmosphere surrounding their finances. Many people are living under financial ceilings they've never identified. These are invisible barriers that allow you to reach a certain level, but never break through to the next. You can feel them when you get close to a major increase, and something always derails it. You experience them when there seems to be a maximum amount you're allowed to earn or keep before something happens to bring you back down. These aren't just psychological limits, they're spiritual structures that were often built long before you were born. Here's the uncomfortable truth that brings freedom once you accept it. You may be fighting battles you didn't start. The financial struggles you're experiencing right now might have roots in generational patterns that go back decades, cycles of poverty, limitation, or near success, but never quite making it, that ran through your family line and attached themselves to your journey without you ever agreeing to carry them. This isn't about blaming your ancestors. This is about understanding the hidden mechanics behind why certain patterns keep repeating despite your best efforts to break them. Joseph Murphy understood this principle deeply. In Deuteronomy 8, verse 18, there's a key that unlocks everything. God gives you the power to get wealth, not luck, not chance, not grinding yourself into exhaustion, not manipulating circumstances or people. God imparts actual power, supernatural ability, to create, attract, and multiply wealth. But here's what you must understand about how spiritual warfare operates. Anything God gives, the enemy will attempt to resist. Not because the enemy can overpower God, but because he can target your reception of what God has released. The tactics are always the same: delay, distraction, and drain. Delay keeps the blessing just out of reach, always coming soon, but never arriving. Distraction pulls your focus to crises and problems, so you can't position yourself for what's trying to reach you. Drain creates holes in your finances, so that even when money comes, it flows out faster than it flows in, leaving you perpetually empty, despite working hard. If you're ready to break these patterns, once and for all, type in the comments, "The cycle ends now." Understanding these patterns brings us to one of the most powerful promises in Scripture that directly addresses your financial journey. Joel chapter 2 verse 25 contains a declaration that rewrites your entire story. God will restore the years the locusts have eaten. Think about what that means in practical terms. Those years when you worked hard but had nothing to show for it, restored. Those seasons when opportunities slipped through your fingers at the last moment, restored. Those losses that devastated you financially and emotionally, restored. The setbacks that knocked you off course and cost you time, money, and momentum, all of it is being restored. If this resonated with you, hit that like button. It helps this message reach others who need to hear that their breakthrough is coming. But here's the revelation that changes everything about how restoration works. It doesn't come slowly, trickling back to you in tiny increments over decades. It doesn't arrive in cautious, measured portions that barely cover what was lost. Biblical restoration comes in abundance. It comes as overflow. It comes with the kind of impact that makes up for lost time in ways that defy natural mathematics. One door opening can recover 10 years of closed doors. One divine connection can restore opportunities you thought were gone forever. One supernatural release can repay financial losses with such multiplication that you end up ahead of where you would have been if the loss had never happened. This is the dimension you're stepping into before December 16th. But for this restoration to fully manifest, the cycles that have been consuming your finances must be broken at the root. Not managed better, not worked around, completely shattered. Right now, every cycle that has been swallowing your prosperity is being commanded to break. Those repetitive patterns of loss that seem to follow you no matter where you go or what you do, breaking. The delay that keeps success always one step ahead of you, never quite catching up, breaking. The poverty mindset that whispers you'll never have enough no matter how much comes in, breaking. That frustrating pattern where you earn but never keep, where money passes through your hands but never stays, breaking. Every spiritual ceiling that has capped your income at a certain level, every invisible barrier that allowed you to reach a certain point but not beyond it, is shattering in this moment. Can you sense it? That feeling like something is loosening its grip on your financial reality. That's not your imagination working overtime. That's the evidence of chains falling off, restrictions lifting, old patterns losing their power over your journey. The atmosphere around your finances is changing because the spiritual structures that governed your limitations are being dismantled. If you can feel this shift happening inside you right now, write in the comments, "I receive restoration." This shift in the spiritual atmosphere creates a defining moment in your journey. You will not repeat the same financial story for another year. That declaration isn't just hopeful thinking. It's a divine decree that rewrites your trajectory. The same struggles that followed you through this year will not follow you into the next. The same limitations that kept you stuck will not have permission to continue. The same patterns that drained your resources and exhausted your faith are losing their authority over your future right now. Divine reversal is happening in real time. Everything that went wrong is being turned around. Every setback is being repositioned as a setup for comeback. Every closed door from your past is being re-examined by heaven, and the ones that were closed by enemy interference rather than divine timing are being reopened. Recovery is in motion. What was lost is being recovered. What was stolen is being returned. What was damaged is being restored to better than its original condition. Where there have been blockages preventing the flow of provision into your life, doors are opening. Where confusion clouded your financial decisions and made you second-guess every choice, clarity is emerging with sharp focus. Where bondage held you captive to debt, limitation, and scarcity thinking, freedom is breaking through. Now let me introduce you to the first of the 4 financial doors that are opening before December 16th. This is the door of supernatural provision, and understanding how this door operates will completely transform your relationship with resources, money, and material needs. This isn't just about getting more money in your bank account, though that will certainly happen. This door changes the entire foundation of how provision reaches you. It shifts you from struggling to make ends meet to being consistently supplied. From barely making it through each month to moving in overflow, where there's more than enough. From uncertainty that keeps you awake at night wondering how bills will be paid to divine stability that gives you unshakable peace even before you see the solution. Supernatural provision means that God sends exactly what you need at the exact moment you need it, from sources you never anticipated, through channels you didn't know existed, in ways that bypass all natural limitations. It's provision that doesn't make logical sense based on your current circumstances. It shows up when your bank account says impossible but heaven says done. It arrives through the unexpected phone call, the surprising refund, the contract you didn't see coming, the idea that suddenly monetizes, the favor that opens doors your resume couldn't open. If you're ready to receive through this first door, write in the comments, "Provision is mine." The beauty of supernatural provision lies in its timing and its source. It's not just about receiving money, though finances are certainly part of it. Provision encompasses everything you need to move forward: resources, connections, ideas, solutions, wisdom, favor, even physical items that you needed but couldn't afford. What makes it supernatural is that God moves ahead of you, positioning these provisions in your path before you even arrive at the moment you'll need them. He's arranging conversations with people who will become pivotal connections. He's placing ideas in your mind that will generate income streams you haven't tapped into yet. He's orchestrating circumstances behind the scenes that will result in open doors you didn't even know to knock on. Think back over your own journey for a moment. Have you ever experienced a time when a bill was due, and you had absolutely no idea how it would be paid? Then suddenly help came from a completely unexpected direction. Maybe someone you barely knew felt prompted to help you. Maybe a refund showed up that you'd forgotten about. Maybe work came through at the exact moment you needed it most. Have you ever been down to your last bit of resources, feeling the pressure of empty, and then received something that carried you through when nothing else could have? Have you survived seasons that when you look back on them now, you honestly don't know how you made it through? The numbers didn't add up, the circumstances were impossible, yet somehow provision showed up again and again. That wasn't luck, that wasn't coincidence, that was supernatural provision. Already operating in your life, even if you didn't have the language to identify it at the time. Those moments were evidence that heaven was watching your situation, that divine timing was at work, that resources were being released on your behalf from the invisible realm into your visible reality. And here's what you need to understand about the door of provision that's opening now. What you've experienced in glimpses and isolated moments is about to become your consistent reality. Instead of provision showing up occasionally in emergencies, it's going to flow regularly, predictably, abundantly. Joseph Murphy taught that your subconscious mind, when properly aligned with divine truth, becomes a magnet for provision. Your thoughts, your words, your expectations create the atmosphere that either attracts or repels the flow of resources. When you shift from scarcity thinking to abundance consciousness, you literally change the frequency you're operating on, and provision responds to that frequency. If past provision has sustained you and you're ready for consistent overflow, type in the comments, "I expect provision daily." One of the most destructive lies that the enemy has whispered into your mind during seasons of financial struggle is that you're on your own, that you have to figure this out by yourself, that no one is watching, no one is helping, no one is aware of what you're going through. The isolation of that lie makes the burden feel heavier than it actually is. But here's the truth that shatters that deception completely. You have never been alone. Not for a single moment of your financial journey have you been abandoned to work this out in your own strength. Philippians chapter 4, verse 19 contains a promise that reframes your entire financial reality. God supplies all your needs according to his riches in glory. Read that carefully. Not according to your job's ability to pay you, not according to your bank account's current balance, not according to the state of the economy or the job market or interest rates or inflation, according to his riches in glory. That's an unlimited source. That's a supply that never runs dry, never gets depleted, never experiences shortage. When your provision is tied to an infinite source rather than finite circumstances, everything changes about how you approach lack. This is why Psalm 23 opens with such confidence. "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." That's not wishful thinking from someone who's never experienced need. That's a declaration from someone who understands the heart of a shepherd. A good shepherd doesn't just watch the flock from a distance. He knows each sheep intimately. He watches every step they take. He goes ahead of them to make sure the path is safe and the pasture is ready. He provides what they need before they even know they need it. Provision is the signature characteristic of a shepherd who is deeply invested in the well-being of those under his care. And today, right now, this door of provision is being unlocked over your life with prophetic authority, not by your own efforts or worthiness, not because you finally figured out the right formula or said the right words, but because heaven has scheduled this moment, marked this time, and assigned this blessing to find you before December 16th. The shepherd, who has been watching every step of your journey, is now opening the door that releases consistent, abundant, supernatural supply into every area where you've experienced lack. If you recognize that you've never truly been alone in this struggle, write in the comments, "My shepherd provides." This activation of the provision door happens through divine command, not human effort. Resources that have been distant are now being commanded to find you, not you chasing them, stressing over them, manipulating circumstances to acquire them. They are being directed toward you by heavenly instruction. Divine helpers, people who carry the solutions you need, are being prompted to come into your path. You won't have to beg or convince them. They'll feel drawn to assist you in ways that seem almost inexplicable to the natural mind. Solutions to problems that have stumped you for months or years are manifesting, suddenly becoming clear when they were foggy before. Watch what happens in the transformation of your internal atmosphere as this door opens. Where there has been emptiness in your finances, in your accounts, in your resources, fullness is flooding in to replace the void. Where fear has dominated your thoughts every time you looked at bills or checked your balance, faith is rising up with unshakable confidence that provision is already on the way. Where pressure has been mounting, stealing your sleep and your peace, crushing you under the weight of financial stress, divine peace is descending like a blanket that covers every anxious thought. This isn't just about the money changing, this is about you changing. Your mindset shifting, your entire relationship with provision being rebuilt on a foundation that can't be shaken by circumstances. Now let me paint you a picture that captures exactly how supernatural provision operates. Imagine you're standing in front of a massive door. It's locked, you don't have the key, you don't have the strength to force it open, you don't even know what's on the other side, but you know that what you need is behind that door. You've tried everything you can think of to open it. You've pushed, pulled, knocked, pleaded. Nothing has worked. You're exhausted from the effort. And then, while you're standing there in your weakness and inability, you hear something. The sound of locks clicking open from the inside, tumblers shifting, heavy bars sliding back. The door is opening, but you're not the one opening it. You didn't find the key. You didn't summon the strength. God opened it from the other side. That's supernatural provision in action. That's what happens when heaven decides it's time for your breakthrough. The doors you couldn't open with all your efforts swing wide because divine authority spoke to them. The provision you couldn't manufacture appears because the shepherd went ahead and prepared it. If you're ready to stop striving and start receiving what's already been prepared, write in the comments, God opens my doors. Before December 16th arrives, you're going to receive tangible confirmation that this word is real and active. In your life, God will place something in your hands that serves as evidence, as proof, as a deposit on the fullness of what's coming. It might show up as a financial breakthrough you weren't expecting. It could be a person, a divine helper, who enters your life at exactly the right moment with exactly what you need. It might come as a discount that saves you significant money on something you had to purchase anyway. An approval that's been pending might suddenly come through. A refund you'd written off as lost could appear in your account. Someone might give you a gift that meets a specific need you hadn't told anyone about. An opportunity could present itself that you know you didn't create through your own networking or effort. Watch for these confirmations because they're not random acts of kindness or good luck. They're heaven's way of saying, this is real. What I've spoken is already in motion, and what you're seeing now is just the beginning. These confirmations build your faith for the greater releases coming. They shift your expectation from hoping something might happen to knowing something is happening. They change your entire posture from anxious waiting to confident receiving. Now let me introduce you to the second financial door that's opening in your life before December 16th. This is the door of divine opportunities. And understanding how this door functions will completely transform how you view the next few weeks of your journey. Heaven isn't just watching passively while you try to create opportunities through your own hustle and grind. Heaven is actively scheduling opportunities with your name already attached to them. Right now, there's a meeting being arranged that you don't know about yet. There's a conversation being orchestrated that will shift your entire trajectory. There's a moment being aligned that will change everything in your favor. Divine opportunities operate on a completely different level than the opportunities you create through networking, applications, or your own initiative. Those have their place, but they're limited by your reach, your connections, your visibility. Divine opportunities bypass all those limitations. They connect you with people you would never have met through normal channels. They open doors that weren't even on your radar. They create moments where the right person sees you at the right time, with the right need that you're perfectly positioned to meet. If you sense heaven arranging something behind the scenes of your life right now, write in the comments, "My opportunity is coming." Opportunities function as the actual currency of destiny. Money is important, but opportunities are what create the pathways for money to flow. Think about the trajectory of your entire life and how it's been shaped by key moments. One conversation with the right person at the right time can completely redirect where you're headed. One door opening in your career, your business, your creative work can cancel out years of struggle and frustration. One divine connection with someone who believes in you, who sees your potential, who has the influence or resources to elevate you, can launch you into realms you never even imagined were accessible to you. This is why the enemy fights so hard to keep you isolated, to make you miss divine appointments, to cause you to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. He knows that you don't need 1,000 opportunities to transform your financial reality. You need one, the right one. The one that's been custom designed for your specific gifts, positioned for your exact timing, aligned with your destiny. And that's precisely what God is preparing for you right now. Behind the scenes where you can't see the arrangements being made, what if the next phone call you receive changes everything? Not eventually, not after months of follow-up, but immediately shifts your circumstances. What if the next email sitting in your inbox is the one you've been waiting years to receive? The approval, the invitation, the offer, the connection that opens doors you thought were permanently closed. What if the next client who reaches out to you becomes the breakthrough client? The one who not only pays well, but introduces you to a whole network of opportunities? What if the next person you have a seemingly casual conversation with turns out to be the divine connection that alters your entire trajectory? These aren't fantasies. This is how divine opportunities operate. They don't announce themselves with fanfare. They often look ordinary until you're on the other side of them looking back, realizing that moment was the hinge that everything turned on. Joseph Murphy taught extensively about the power of expectation and recognition. When you expect divine opportunities, when you're watching for them with heightened awareness, you recognize them when they appear instead of walking past them. Your mindset shifts from skepticism to readiness. Your decisions come from faith rather than fear. Your entire approach to each day changes because you know heaven is arranging something significant. If you're positioning yourself to recognize and receive your divine opportunity, type in the comments, "I'm ready and watching." There's a promise in Revelation chapter 3, verse 8, that carries absolute authority over every obstacle in your path. It declares that God sets before you an open door and no man can shut it. Let that sink in for a moment. No boss who overlooks you can shut what God opens. No broken system that discriminates against you can shut what God opens. No delay that's frustrated you for months can shut what God opens. No circumstance that looks impossible can shut what God opens. No enemy who's been working behind the scenes against your progress can shut what God opens. When heaven decides it's time for your door to open, every force that's been holding it closed loses its power. Right now, by prophetic authority, every door that has been assigned to your name is being commanded to open immediately, not eventually, not when conditions are perfect, not when you've proven yourself more, immediately. These are opportunities that carry your specific fingerprint, designed for your unique combination of gifts, positioned for your exact season, aligned with your destined impact. They've been waiting for the right moment to manifest. And that moment is now. Here's what you need to understand about divine timing that will shift your entire mindset about what's possible in the coming days. You will not miss your moment. That fear that's been lurking in the back of your mind, whispering that you're going to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, that the opportunity will pass you by, that you'll look back with regret. That fear is a lie designed to paralyze you. Divine appointments don't depend on your perfect performance or flawless timing. When God schedules a meeting between you and your breakthrough, all the details align without you having to orchestrate them. You end up exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there, connected to exactly who you need to meet. Supernatural alignments are coming forth right now. Pieces that seemed disconnected are fitting together. Relationships that seemed random are revealing their purpose. Decisions you made months ago that you questioned are showing their strategic importance. Everything that seemed delayed or stuck is beginning to move with momentum. Every opportunity that's been frozen in bureaucracy, caught in review, pending approval, or mysteriously stalled is being commanded to open now. The locks are turning, the barriers are lifting, the pathways are clearing. If you believe your divine timing is activating right now, write in the comments, "My moment is now." Picture yourself walking into a room for a meeting you thought was routine, maybe even a formality, and the first words you hear are, "We've been waiting for you." Not as a polite greeting, but as a statement of intention. They were actually waiting specifically for you. You were the missing piece. Or imagine your phone rings with a number you don't recognize, and the voice on the other end says, "We reviewed your application again," or "We reconsidered your proposal," or "Something told us to reach back out to you." Opportunities you thought were dead are being resurrected. Doors that clearly displayed closed signs are suddenly swinging open with "welcome" written across them. That's divine opportunity in action. That's heaven rearranging circumstances that looked final and unchangeable. Some of you have lived with the painful reality of being overlooked for so long that it's become part of your identity. You've been in rooms where you had the best qualifications but somehow remained invisible. You've submitted your work, your applications, your proposals, and watched less qualified people get chosen while you were passed over. You've been forgotten by people who promised to help you. You've been ignored when you tried to contribute. You've been pushed aside when you should have been brought forward. That experience of being unseen, unheard, and undervalued has worn on your spirit in ways that go deeper than just disappointment. But here's the revelation that changes your entire narrative. God is turning eyes toward you. Not because you're doing something different externally, but because heaven is shifting the spiritual atmosphere around your visibility. People who never noticed you before are suddenly taking a second look. Decision makers who passed over you previously are feeling prompted to reconsider. Your name is being remembered in conversations you're not part of. Someone is thinking about you right now for an opportunity they haven't mentioned to you yet. The same people who overlooked you are about to see you with completely different eyes because divine favor is highlighting you. In ways that human bias can't ignore, God is positioning you in the right place at the right time, with a precision that only divine orchestration can accomplish. You're going to find yourself in situations where it becomes obvious that this wasn't luck or coincidence. The alignment is too perfect. The timing is too exact. The connection is too strategic. If you felt invisible, but you're ready to be seen, write in the comments, "God is positioning me now." Divine opportunities are now being decreed across every dimension of your financial life. In your business, whether you're building something from the ground up or trying to scale what already exists, opportunities for growth, expansion, and visibility are being released. In your career, whether you're seeking advancement, transition, or recognition, doors that lead to the next level are opening. For those of you who serve clients, The right clients who value your work and pay well are being directed toward you. Contracts that have been stalled in negotiation or stuck in legal review are being accelerated towards signature. Ideas that have been sitting dormant in your mind, waiting for the right moment or the right resources, are about to find their expression and their market. Partnerships that will multiply your impact and your income are being arranged by divine connection. Every closed door is opening. Every hidden door that you didn't even know existed is being revealed. Every delayed door that's been testing your patience is being accelerated. Every blocked door that seemed permanently shut is breaking open under divine authority. This isn't just hopeful language. This is prophetic decree that activates movement in the spiritual realm, which then manifests in your physical reality. The atmosphere around your opportunities is shifting right now. Now let me introduce you to the third financial door that's opening before December 16th. And this one carries profound emotional and spiritual weight because it addresses the burden that so many carry in silence. This is the door of debt cancellation and restoration. Understanding what happens when this door opens will bring relief to places in your heart that have been heavy for years. This door reverses what the enemy has stolen from you. It lifts financial burdens that have sat on your shoulders so long you've almost forgotten what it feels like to stand up straight under their weight. It wipes out the shame that comes from owing, from being behind, from not being able to meet obligations the way you want to. Debt does more than drain your bank account. It drains your peace, your sleep, your joy, your sense of freedom. It creates a heaviness that follows you into every decision, coloring everything with anxiety. It whispers lies about your worth, your capability, your future. Financial pressure doesn't just stress you out in the moment. It steals your ability to dream, to plan, to hope. And for too many people, this burden has been carried alone, in silence, wrapped in shame that prevents them from even talking about it. If debt has stolen your peace and you're ready for cancellation and restoration, write in the comments, "My burden is lifting." Divine opportunities are now being decreed across every dimension of your financial life. In your business, whether you're building something from the ground up or trying to scale what already exists, opportunities for growth, expansion, and visibility are being released. Your career, whether you're seeking advancement, transition, or recognition, doors that lead to the next level are opening. For those of you who serve clients, the right clients who value your work and pay well are being directed toward you. Contracts that have been stalled in negotiation or stuck in legal review are being accelerated towards signature. Ideas that have been sitting dormant in your mind, waiting for the right moment or the right resources, are about to find their expression and their market. Partnerships that will multiply your impact and your income are being arranged by divine connection. Every closed door is opening. Every hidden door that you didn't even know existed is being revealed. Every delayed door that's been testing your patience is being accelerated. Every blocked door that seemed permanently shut is breaking open under divine authority. This isn't just hopeful language. This is prophetic decree that activates movement in the spiritual realm, which then manifests in your physical reality. The atmosphere around your opportunities is shifting right now. Now let me introduce you to the third financial door that's opening before December 16th. And this one carries profound emotional and spiritual weight because it addresses the burden that so many carry in silence. This is the door of debt cancellation and restoration. Understanding what happens when this door opens will bring relief to places in your heart that have been heavy for years. This door reverses what the enemy has stolen from you. It lifts financial burdens that have sat on your shoulders so long you've almost forgotten what it feels like to stand up straight under their weight. It wipes out the shame that comes from owing, from being behind, from not being able to meet obligations the way you want to. Debt does more than drain your bank account. It drains your peace, your sleep, your joy, your sense of freedom. It creates a heaviness that follows you into every decision, coloring everything with anxiety. It whispers lies about your worth, your capability, your future. Financial pressure doesn't just stress you out in the moment. It steals your ability to dream, to plan, to hope. And for too many people, this burden has been carried alone, in silence, wrapped in shame that prevents them from even talking about it. If debt has stolen your peace and you're ready for cancellation and restoration, write in the comments, "My burden is lifting." Here's a truth that needs to settle deep into your spirit because it contradicts everything you've been made to feel about your current financial situation. You were not created to live under the crushing weight of debt. You were not designed to spend your life drowning in bills that never seem to decrease, no matter how hard you work. You were not called to merely survive under constant financial pressure, always one emergency away from collapse. That's not your divine design. That's not the blueprint heaven had in mind when your life was formed. Debt is not your identity. It's a temporary condition, not a permanent definition of who you are. Lack is not your name. Scarcity is not your portion. These are circumstances you've been walking through, not the destiny you were created to fulfill. The transformation that happens when you internalize this truth is profound. It shifts you from accepting limitation as normal to recognizing it as abnormal. It changes your prayers from begging for relief to commanding breakthrough. It alters your decisions from survival mode to strategic positioning for the abundance that's actually meant to flow through your life. Joseph Murphy understood deeply that what you believe about yourself at the subconscious level creates the reality you experience. When you believe debt is just how life is for people like you, you unconsciously make choices that keep you there. But when you recognize that debt contradicts your divine design, everything changes. Now let me ask you some honest questions, and I want you to answer them in your heart, even if you've never voiced them out loud. Have you been carrying silent shame because of debt? Not the kind of shame you talk about openly, but the private embarrassment that hits you when you're alone, when you're comparing your situation to others, when you're declining invitations because you can't afford them. Have you lost sleep, staring at numbers on statements that never seem to decrease despite your payments? That exhausting cycle where you pay and pay, but the balance barely moves, making you wonder if you'll ever be free. Have you felt trapped, like you're in a cage with no visible exit, overwhelmed by financial responsibilities that feel heavier than you can carry? This third door opening before December 16th is specifically designed for you and your breakthrough, not generally for everyone watching, specifically for you who've carried this burden. The door of debt cancellation and restoration addresses both the practical financial reality and the emotional weight that comes with it. If you've carried this shame in silence and you're ready to be free, write in the comments, "Shame is breaking off me." There's a scripture in Isaiah chapter 61 verse 7 that contains a promise so powerful it completely rewrites your story. It declares that instead of your shame, you shall have double honor, not equal to what you lost, not just getting back to where you were before everything fell apart. Double. God's restoration doesn't bring you back to the starting line. It launches you past it. He doesn't restore you to how things were when you were barely managing. He restores you to better than before, to a level you hadn't even reached yet. This is about complete reversal, not partial recovery. Think about the impact of what that means for your journey. The shame you've carried over debt, over financial failure, over decisions you regret, becomes the very thing that qualifies you for double blessing. The enemy meant those experiences to destroy you, to mark you permanently with defeat. But God is using them as the setup for a comeback story that will astound everyone who knows what you've been through. This is the hidden truth behind why some people who've been through the worst financial devastation end up with the greatest testimonies of abundance. The depth of the valley determines the height of the elevation. Right now, every financial burden that's been crushing you is being cancelled, lifted, dissolved and erased, not reduced slightly, not made more manageable, cancelled. Those overdue bills that have been generating late fees and destroying your credit are being resolved through supernatural intervention. Maybe someone pays them unexpectedly. Maybe a creditor agrees to settle for less. Maybe money appears from a source you never anticipated. Heavy loans that seemed impossible to ever pay off are being reduced. The balance you thought you'd carry for decades is shrinking through divine mathematics that don't follow normal calculations. Impossible amounts that made you want to give up entirely are being supernaturally cancelled, not through bankruptcy that damages your future, not through schemes that compromise your integrity, through divine intervention that causes creditors to forgive, amounts to be adjusted, or provision to appear that covers what seemed uncoverable. Peace is coming to every creditor situation that's been a source of stress and pressure. Phone calls that made your stomach drop are becoming conversations that bring relief. Statements that triggered anxiety are about to bring pleasant surprise. If you're ready to receive this complete reversal in your finances, write in the comments, "I received double restoration." Restoration is coming for everything you've lost along this difficult journey, not partial recovery, complete restoration. What you lost through bad decisions that you've regretted ever since is being restored. What was taken from you by dishonest people who exploited your trust is being restored. What slipped through your fingers during seasons of chaos when you couldn't hold on to anything is being restored. What was stolen by broken systems that discriminated against you, by circumstances beyond your control that devastated your finances, by spiritual attacks that targeted your prosperity, specifically is all being restored. You will not end this year the way you've feared, with empty hands and an exhausted spirit. You will not close out these final weeks drained of hope and resources. You will not walk into the new year defeated by everything that tried to take you down. Before December 16th arrives, watch for restoration to show up in forms you didn't anticipate. God is sending repayment from places where you were robbed. People who owe you are suddenly going to feel convicted to pay what they've been withholding. Organizations that took advantage of you are going to send compensation you never thought you'd see. Refunds you weren't expecting are about to hit your account, maybe from overpayments you didn't know about, maybe from errors that are finally being corrected, maybe from class action settlements you forgot you were part of. Recoveries you never imagined possible are manifesting. Money you wrote off as permanently lost is being recovered through channels that make no logical sense. Returns are coming from forgotten places. That loan you made years ago that you assumed was gone forever, someone's remembering it. That investment that seemed to disappear, it's about to resurface with value. That opportunity that fell through and cost you money, it's being resurrected with better terms. Compensation is coming from unpredictable sources, not from where you've been looking or expecting, but from directions that catch you completely off guard. This is how divine restoration operates. It doesn't follow your logical pathways. It doesn't limit itself to the sources you've identified. It comes from the unexpected, orchestrated by the hand of God, working behind the scenes in ways you can't see yet, but are about to experience. If you're ready to receive restoration from every direction, write in the comments, "Restoration finds me now." There's a rhythm to how restoration flows when heaven decrees it over your life. It's comprehensive, touching every area where loss occurred. Restore the years that felt wasted, where you were spinning your wheels but going nowhere. Restore the money that disappeared into emergencies, bad investments, or situations you couldn't control. Restore the opportunities that slipped away because the timing seemed off or the door closed too soon. Restore the ideas that you abandoned because you didn't have the resources or confidence to pursue them. Restore the open doors that shut in your face, leaving you wondering what you did wrong. Wherever the enemy has touched your finances, leaving fingerprints of destruction, complete restoration is being decreed right now. This isn't selective recovery, where some things get restored and others don't. This is total reversal, where every area the enemy accessed is being reclaimed and rewritten. The pattern of loss is being replaced with a pattern of recovery. The trajectory of decline is being redirected toward increase. The mindset of defeat is being transformed into expectation of breakthrough. And this restoration doesn't just bring you back to zero. It propels you forward into the fourth and final door that's opening before December 16th. This fourth door is the highest level of financial transformation available to you. This is the door of wealth transfer and abundance, and understanding what happens when you walk through this door will shift everything about how you see your financial future. This isn't just about recovering from loss or getting out of debt or receiving provision for your needs. This is about divine elevation into a completely different economic realm. This is where heaven takes everything that was denied to you, everything that was delayed when it should have arrived on time, everything that was stolen by enemy interference, and rewrites your entire financial destiny in your favor. Wealth transfer means that resources don't just appear from nowhere. They transfer from where they've been held to where they belong, which is in the hands of people who will steward them according to divine purpose. Right now, there is wealth that's been sitting in the wrong hands, controlled by people who use it selfishly or destructively. That wealth has your name on it in the spiritual realm, and it's about to transfer from their possession to yours. If you're ready to step into this highest door of wealth and abundance, write in the comments, "Wealth is transferring to me." Proverbs chapter 13 verse 22 contains a revelation that completely reframes how you understand the movement of wealth in the earth. It declares that the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the righteous. This isn't about good people versus bad people in a simplistic moral sense. This is about wealth that's been accumulated by those who use it against divine purpose, and that wealth doesn't just disappear into nothing. It's being stored, held in a kind of spiritual escrow, waiting for transfer to its rightful owner. Heaven keeps ledgers. There are accounts with your name on them that you've never accessed because the timing wasn't right or the transfer mechanism wasn't in place yet. But something is shifting in the invisible realm right now. Wealth that's been allocated to you but held in reserve is being released. Resources that have been recorded in heaven's books under your name are being transferred from storage into your reality. This isn't about taking from others through manipulation or schemes. This is about divine redistribution, where what belongs in your hands finally arrives there. The hidden truth that changes everything is understanding that lack in your life doesn't mean there's no provision for you. It means the provision exists but hasn't transferred yet. And before December 16th, that transfer is accelerating. This is where your journey shifts from recovery to overflow, from just getting back on your feet to running with momentum. This is where ideas that have been dormant in your mind suddenly become income streams, where favor that's been building around you becomes tangible opportunities, where those opportunities convert into measurable increase, and where that increase doesn't stop at enough but continues flowing into overflow. You're not stepping into small incremental improvement that barely makes a difference. You're stepping into multiplied increase where the impact is undeniable. More than enough becomes your new normal. Provision that exceeds your needs, leaving surplus, becomes your daily experience. Your cup doesn't just fill to the brim and stop, it runs over, spilling blessing into areas beyond just your immediate circumstances. Joseph Murphy taught extensively about the multiplication principle, where consciousness of abundance creates the reality of abundance. When you expect overflow, When you position yourself mentally and spiritually for more than enough, the universe responds to that frequency. Your decisions start reflecting abundance rather than scarcity. Your actions align with someone who's about to receive, not someone who's perpetually lacking. If you're ready to step from barely enough into overflowing abundance, write in the comments, "My cup overflows now." Now, if you've stayed with me through this entire journey, through all 4 doors that are opening in your life before December 16th, I want you to know something. You're not here by accident. The fact that you've absorbed every word, every decree, every revelation about provision, opportunity, restoration, and abundance means something significant. About where you are spiritually and what heaven is preparing to release in your life. Before you go, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. The content here isn't just information, it's transformation. It's about understanding the spiritual principles that govern your financial reality and positioning yourself to receive what's already been assigned to you. There are more revelations coming, more doors opening, more breakthrough strategies that you'll want to be part of. And right now, while this message is still fresh in your spirit, leave a comment below and simply write, "This message was meant for me." When you declare that publicly, you're sealing your agreement with what's been spoken over your life. You're activating your faith in a tangible way. And honestly, I love reading these comments because they remind me that we're all on this journey together, believing for breakthrough, expecting divine intervention in our finances. If this resonated with you, if something shifted inside you while watching, go ahead and hit that like button. It helps this message reach others who are in the same battle you've been fighting, who need to hear that their waiting season is ending and their receiving season is beginning. There's a video right here that goes even deeper into activating supernatural provision in your daily life. Click and continue with me over there. Let's keep building your faith and positioning you for everything that's about to manifest before December 16th.